Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Jesus the Solid Rock Ministries, where we preach Christ and Christ crucified. This is your servant Lillian, and today I want to say to you, the God of Joseph still in control. The God of Joseph still in control. Genesis chapter 41, verse 15, 16, and verse 25, verse 39 to 40. Please stay tuned to the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And smash the notification button so we'll never miss a thing we post. Let's get into this. It's very, very important. Genesis chapter 41, verse 15 to 16, verse 25, 39 to 40. The Bible says, Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream, and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said, if you that when you hear a dream you can interpret it. I cannot do it, Joseph replied to Pharaoh, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Then Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same. God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all things known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you. Joseph was a walking piñata. The angry jealousy of his brothers that sold him into slavery, the below the belt deceit by Potiphar's wife that landed him in prison, the butler's broken promise that kept him in prison. Joseph staggered but recovered. By God's strength, he pulled himself to his feet and stood, stronger than ever in Pharaoh's court. Oh, the contrast. Pharaoh the king, Joseph the ex-shepherd. Pharaoh urban, Joseph rural. Pharaoh from the palace, Joseph from the prison. Pharaoh was gold chains, Joseph wore bruises from shackles. Pharaoh had his armies and pyramids. Joseph had a borrowed robe and a foreign accent. The prisoner, however, was unfazed. He heard the dreams and went straight to work. No need to consult advisors or tea leaves. This is simple stuff, like basic multiplication for a award-mad professor. Expect 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. No one, including Pharaoh, knew how to respond. Famine was a full word in Egyptian dictionary. A famine to Pharaoh was the equivalent of electric cars to the sheikhs. It's apocalypse. The silence in the throne room was a thick you can hear and cut drop. Joseph took advantage of the pause in conversation to offer a solution. Create a department of agriculture and commission a smart person to gather grain in the good years and to distribute it during the lean years. Officials gulped at Joseph's cut path. It is one thing to give bad news to Pharaoh, another to offer unsolicited advice. Yet, the guy hadn't shown a hint of fear since it entered the palace. He paid no homage to the king. He didn't offer accolades to the magicians. He didn't kiss rings or polish apples. Lesser men would have covered. Joseph didn't blink. Again, the contrast. The most powerful person in the room, Pharaoh, ruler of the Nile, deity of the heavens, grand poobah of the pyramid people, was in dire need of a scotch. The lowest person on the pecking order, Joseph, ex-slave, convict, accused sex offender, was cooler than the other side of the pillow. What made the difference? What made the difference? Joseph had an anchor. not a piece of iron, but a deep-seated, stabilizing belief in God's sovereignty. Joseph had an anchor. Let me say it again. Not a piece of iron, but a deep-seated, stabilizing belief in God's sovereignty. We sense it in his first sentence. It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh. Genesis chapter 41 verse 16. The second time Joseph spoke, he explained. In verse 28, he said, God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. Joseph proceeded to interpret the dreams and then tell Pharaoh that the dreams were established by God and God will shortly bring it to pass. In verse 32. 4 times in 3 verses, Joseph made reference to God. He looked the magnet of his compass on a divine pole star. He lived with the awareness that God was active, able, and up to something significant. Please live with this awareness that God is active, able, and up to something significant in your life. And Joseph was correct. Pharaoh commanded a stunning turnaround. In verse 38, the Bible said, can we find such a one as this, a man in whom is the Spirit of God? He turned the kingdom over to Joseph. By the end of the day, the boy from Canaan was riding a royal chariot, second only to Pharaoh in authority. What an expected rebound. In the chaos called Joseph's life, I count 1 broken promise, at least 2 betrayals, several burns of hatred, 2 abductions, more than 1 seduction, 10 jealous brothers, and 1 case of poor parenting, abuse, unjust imprisonment, 24 months of prison food. Mix it all together and let it sit for 13 years. And what do you get? The greatest bounce back in the Bible. Jacob's forgotten boy became the second most powerful man in the world's most powerful country. The path to the palace wasn't quick. It wasn't painless. But wouldn't you say that God took this mess and made it into something good? And wouldn't you think He can do the same with yours? Tally up the pain of your past, betrayals, plus anger, plus tragedies, poorly parented, wrongly accused, inappropriately touched. Oh, how onerous life can be. Yet, consider this question. Is the God of Joseph still in control? Is the God of Joseph still in control? Yes. Can He do for you what He did for Joseph? Yes. My the evil intended to harm you actually help you become the person God intends you to be? Yes. Someday perhaps, in this life, certainly the next, you will tally up the crowd of your life and write this sum: all good. All good. God will turn this mess in your life for good. Wait for Him. It will surely come to pass. And when He does, He will write a new story for your life. He will write a new story for your life. Tarry there and wait for God. Thank you. This is your servant Lillian. Shalom.